Hey everyone, welcome to another Let's Write an Episode. I'm Tommy Oler. This month we are writing an episode of Gossip Girl, the popular CW series from the late 2000s. This episode is one of the longest we've had, and that's because it took us a little while to crack it. You'll hear us struggle and switch ideas, and you'll hear it. It was difficult. We've also got a guest to help us out this time around. Nick and I only watched Gossip Girl leading up to the writing of this, and Kaye watched it all when she was younger, and we needed another person with her perspective, so we got writer and comedian Sara Kaye Larson to join us. So, without further ado, here we are writing our episode of Gossip Girl. Enjoy it. Let's say hi so everyone can know, because you're new. So I'm Tommy.
I'm Kaye.
I'm Sara Kaye.
And it's Nick.
It's Nick. The cool people here. Okay. Gossip Girl. Now, one thing with Gossip Girl I found out like while watching it is that in every episode there is something that they have to do that night or that week.
Yeah, like an event, like a slumber party or a brunch.
Exactly. Yeah. There's
and someone's not invited.
A ball.
Or someone can't make it.
There's something happening that they have to go to, and the parents all make them go to it because it's like, this is really important for me.
Yeah.
That you go to this.
Yeah.
That's the basis of all like YA writing, like young adult now. It has to be like a prom.
Yeah.
Something to look forward to, like a social status thing.
So I say we make our thing, just follow that format and say there's some garbage event that they have to go to, and it has to matter to a couple of the characters. The characters.
It could be about garbage, too.
Okay, let's call it the garbage ball.
Right.
Okay.
Recycling.
They have to go to the garbage ball. And other than that, I don't have any ideas.
I know. It's like a really big canvas. I've just been spending time watching it. I haven't even...
You haven't even thought about it?
Yeah.
Okay. So I watched the first season, and that's the one thing I picked up. And I know you mentioned, Kaye, that you wanted to do, let's just keep it in the first season.
Yeah, because it gets crazy.
No characters are dead. No one's gone to Paris. All that stuff.
Yeah.
That's the first time I'm hearing it. Well, that's the second time I heard it. It's the first season. But that's okay.
Yeah,
it's better.
yeah.
It's better.
Yeah.
It's fresher.
It's going to be
and
just
plus,
basic.
that's all I saw the first 13 episodes of the first season. So I don't know anything.
He's only watched like 3 episodes.
I've seen like the first few episodes. So, but I'm a total expert on the show. So
Yeah.
now on,
You're like,
don't even worry about it.
Yeah.
So
What's the event? Let's do it.
He's like, I've tried to rape a couple of people.
Chuck Bass.
That's how you become a...
I think if we start with how many rapes happen in the episode,
69.
Then we can only go up from there.
At least attempted. I mean, if it's not
That was a bad time to make a 69 joke.
Yeah.
How many rapes is like
There's
69
never
rapes?
a bad
Like,
time.
uh-oh.
Never a bad time.
Yeah. If it's not like full blown, just like rape,
Like Serena
attempted
and
rape,
Nate like sleeping together was basically what in today's like Me Too movement would be a rape, because she was way too drunk and she was like, it could be, because it was like not, because he had a crush on her for a really long time. They were at a wedding. She got plastered, and he was like, "Oh yeah."
But what was she?
Well, I don't know. They don't say how drunk he was, but
Well, we don't know.
they go to, I think, like his hotel room. I don't know.
It looked like they just fucked right next to that bar.
That's
I
true.
thought they fucked in the bar too.
Yeah.
I was like, that's.
But you could also see already that he was in control and she was on the thing and she was like getting wild and he was like, "Get off, you're too drunk," blah blah blah, and then they just start hooking up.
That's wild.
So it's a show based on rape.
Well, not even that. Like,
the same episode has a couple.
Yeah.
Chuck Bass like.
But-
Chuck Bass tries to rape Serena.
He just raped
And
Serena,
Jenny.
and then he tries to
Yeah.
rape Jenny.
and that's the first episode.
And then he sleeps. Yeah, and then he sleeps with the maids who work at his dad's
so
hotel.
that's statutory.
Yes.
Yes.
He does. Yes, he does.
And like,
But if
He
Chuck,
gets raped
if Chuck isn't getting raped, he's trying to rape.
yeah, if Chuck isn't
Even still, it's statutory rape from them, but it's also like a power weird
Move from-
thing.
yeah, 'cause-
For him.
So
Because
it's like,
when-
I don't know, does the
because
rape...
when he dismisses those women, he says, "I'll let my dad know how good your hospitality was," which implies that he kind of was like, "I'll tell my dad if you don't fuck me."
Yeah.
You know.
It's a
It's
real
crazy.
fucked up weird situation.
Yeah.
Okay.
You were like, mhm.
Well, he was a heartthrob in the aughts, in the
The
aughts.
funny thing is, I don't remember anyone ever talking about Gossip Girl one time ever.
Never?
Never.
Well, you had to be in like a girls' locker room or something.
Yeah, exactly.
I was there all the time.
It's like girls in locker rooms.
I was looking in there all the time.
Why do you think I'm so into Chuck Bass?
Okay. So we got these we got Serena. We have
Blair.
Yeah. I have them written down. We have Serena, Blair, Nate, Dan, Chuck, Jenny, and then there's Vanessa
And, well, yeah.
and their parents.
Yes.
You could like flip the script and do like a I Spit on Your Grave meets Gossip Girl.
So like Chuck Bass tries to rape someone and then like she murders everyone.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like if we can think of how that would go, because there has to be an event that surrounds this. It's almost like a MacGuffin. The event. It's the thing that drives the plot that matters to everyone, but it doesn't really matter to the story of what's happening.
What about what's that called? The dance where the like
Sadie Hawkins dance?
yes, and because it turns out in the end that spoiler alert, it's a dude that's Gossip Girl.
Oh, just kidding.
So this is a very gender bending.
Wait, was it Dan?
It was Dan.
Okay, I
Wait,
thought it
wait.
was Jenny.
Sorry.
Damn
Wait,
it.
Dan was Gossip Girl?
Dan.
Yeah. Oh, Nick guessed it from the beginning. The first episode, Nick
did. I
was
said
like,
it's
Dan
him.
is Gossip
Yeah.
Girl.
And you were like, what are you talking about?
Which creates all kinds of like, or it's like,
Why?
oh, okay, I guess the guy has to tell everybody how everything's going, like, so it could be.
But
Yeah.
that's the worst thing. Like that
like,
makes
you're
that
ruining
makes
the show.
No sense, right?
Yeah.
If you
That
watch
makes-
the first season, it makes
It's
no
class
sense.
warfare.
because Dan he's the good boy.
Yeah, he is the good guy.
And then
See?
he's the guy doing that. He's Gossip Girl.
Because it's like a class warfare issue.
Okay.
It's a very
He's also like a
complex show.
writer.
Yeah.
Like he's like
Maybe
into
it's-
writing,
Oh,
you know?
I feel like the show could potentially be complex if it wasn't that every time that there was subtext, the narrator didn't just say it out loud.
You mean Dan?
Yeah, every time that it's like, oh, we know, we're pretty sure of exactly what just happened here, and then it's just like, looks like there's trouble in paradise. Will B and S work it out? Let's see on the next episode
Yeah,
of Gossip
it's also
Girl
crazy
XOXO.
because
It's like-
sometimes Dan will act like in the first season, there's like misunderstandings, and Dan is being like he has a misunderstanding with Serena, but Gossip Girl knows what's happening. But
So-
Dan in real life is mad about it,
I
and it's like,
know.
what?
That's what I'm
What?
saying. That's what I'm
It's
saying.
destroys.
So Dan's schizophrenic. One half
Yeah.
of him is Dan.
Yeah.
The other half of him
Is
It's
is
Gossip
Gossip-
Girl,
is Gossip
Kristen
Girl.
Bell.
yeah, is
Kristen
Kristen
Bell.
Bell. So he just has a split personality.
I can't believe that because he would be
Dan
like
portrayed by James
so
McAvoy.
so
Tommy's face is just like bewildered. Like
I know.
I cannot.
Wait.
because I just saw the episode where it gets revealed that Blair slept with Nate and Chuck, and then
Ooh, you're farting.
and then Serena confronts because it comes out through Gossip Girl, and then Serena confronts Dan and was like, "I only told you this. How did it get out? You must have told your sister." And Jenny told Nate, and then everyone saw Nate and Chuck fighting, and then he was like, "No."
Do you think that at the end the writers?
But wait, and then she says, "How do I know you're not lying?" And he goes like, "Because do you trust me?"
Oh,
He says, "Listen."
so bad.
And he goes, "Listen, I love you." It's the first time he says, "I love you," and he was the person that revealed it.
He's a shit.
I can't
Wow.
believe this.
I love how Tommy gets so emotionally invested.
Yeah, I
in every
know.
show. He shouldn't. When we watched That's So Raven, he was like, "Why is Raven Simone not getting all the work? She's so talented." And now it's just like you're 100% on board with Gossip Girl.
Well, I didn't know
And now
Dan
you're like,
was.
Oh my god.
But I guess
I feel like,
do you
honestly-
think the writers planned that?
No, I feel like at
I
the
think
end,
so too. I agree.
I feel like at the end, the writers just didn't give a shit, and they're like, you know what? Let's burn this shit to the ground.
Yeah.
I
This
agree.
is what they did. One of them was like,
It's
"Oh
like the
my-"
Roseanne ending, like the
What?
original Roseanne ending, where they're like, it was all a dream.
Well, this is what I think they did. They were like, I think we've been planting seeds for Dan to be, and they're like, how? Like, he's a writer.
Yeah. Also, I think they were just like, no one would suspect him.
Yeah.
Right.
That's just
How it
because he
worked in the
created
books
his
in the
character.
Gossip Girl books.
Are there books?
Yeah, there
my
are
sister
books.
read all the books. I remember.
I read a bunch of those, but they were like, they were basically like one episode. Basically, in the book, there was also like, oh, there's an event we have to be at, and what's gonna happen,
Okay,
Event.
so if we're getting back to our thing,
Yeah.
I agree with
That's
the event.
crazy.
Okay.
Yeah, and there has to be people that are not invited.
Yeah, and
Poor
are-
people.
Yeah.
Poor people, ugly people.
Okay, Dan.
Yeah.
Okay, Dan. Obviously, he doesn't want to go, but he's going anyway because
Right.
Serena
Lonely
either
boy.
wants him to,
Yeah.
or he'll like wind.
Oh,
he'll
that's why
wind
he
up
calls
there.
himself Lonely Boy.
No pores, no
Because
fats.
that's like almost like a sympathetic name
He
to
calls
give yourself.
himself
Lonely Boy.
First
Yeah.
time he's like, oh,
Because in the first episode, Gossip Girl says, and the mystery boy has been revealed. Oh, but who cares what his name is? Let's just call him Lonely Boy or
Yeah,
something.
Lonely boy. Wow. Look at
pilot
you,
is
Dan.
strong. This is strong.
Yeah, that's a great pilot, and it was a long. Like it fit a lot of
longer
things.
than the rest of the episode.
So they're going
Rightfully
to.
so.
They're going to.
Great
there's,
show. Great show.
What are we calling this ball? Are we calling it the garbage ball or the Sadie Hawkins? What are we calling
What
it?
would be like a cool like a recycle like garbage / Sadie Hawkins?
What would be
What's
cool, like,
I'm
garbage?
thinking garbage.
Well, I'm not even.
and
I don't even think we have to think.
shredder.
I don't even think we have to think about that because we can just be as on the nose as we want because this isn't a real episode.
And-
So we can call it trash.
I
We
do
can
like
call
the
it.
tra-
we
trash
got it.
ball.
Ooh, let's
We've
just
got
call
the
it like
trash-
trashy ball.
The
We've
trashy
got-
ball.
You know,
That's
because
kinda
it kind of
Okay.
sounds like it would be
Trashy
like
ball.
trashy girls,
I
like
kinda-
ooh.
Yeah. I do love that you mentioned like if writing becomes hard, we have like that like fallback with the total exposition. We just have
Yeah,
Gossip
like,
Girl
you
be
never
like,
have
and this
to
is
worry
what's
about-
happening.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is what's going on.
This is what's going on.
everything
This is
gonna
where
be
the writers
okay?
couldn't think of anything. And
And Gossip Girl should say really
Spotted.
like
Lonely
fetish-
boy.
yeah, masturbating alone in his bathroom because it's just
Yeah.
him. He knows
Yeah,
when
yeah.
he's doing that.
yes.
That's crazy.
So they're trying to gentrify a neighborhood, so they call it the trashy ball.
The trashy
Oh.
ball.
And they're like,
Okay.
their parents want to take over, like,
Oh,
I don't
okay.
know,
So-
some sort of part
Okay,
of
so here we go.
Yeah.
Chuck's dad is
Wants to build a hotel.
is buying a block of Manhattan, and he's
Owned by gangsters that are in
He's-
trash removal.
he's raising funds, and one way he's raising funds is for the trashy ball for the kids to go to, and it's really important. Chuck doesn't care. He
The
doesn't
locals
wanna
can
go
come too,
there.
but they have to be in like cages.
Okay, so since this is first season, we can have, since Chuck's dad is alive, he's putting on the ball. He gets Serena or Serena's mom Lily to maybe like be in charge of it. So that makes it important that Serena be there. And that they're like, you have to, I'm putting this on Serena. You have to be there. Show some support for your mother or whatever.
Right.
And so maybe Dan will show up there to help Serena. Maybe Blair's not invited because they're in a tiff, because they're always in a tiff. And because Chuck's going to be there, maybe Blair has to talk to Chuck for some reason, so she needs a way to get in. So she uses Jenny to find her a way in because, you know,
And
how,
she's like a jailbait that Chuck wants to.
yeah.
Fuck.
And so, because, you know, like in that first season, Blair is using Jenny for a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
I feel like that's one way we can get most of these characters involved in there. I don't
It
know
could-
anything about Nate or Dan, though.
And
This
Gossip
could
Girl
be-
says all kinds of mean
Or- no,
things
no, I don't
about
know
Jenny
anything about-
almost getting raped,
Yeah.
which is just her brother talking. That's fucking crazy.
That's why I think they did not plan on him being.
No.
I don't think so.
Now, you said we don't need to drill down into the event. Just throwing this out
Okay,
here.
yeah.
If we have the event, like it's trashy style, and you mentioned like live mannequins, what if we make like the working class people, like Dan and Jenny, they have to show up and like the event is a fundraiser where you can watch like working class people like work or like do stuff and that's how they get there. I mean, I don't know. Or they're like, they have to like wash their own clothes or like, I don't, you know.
What if it was like
like
a Carrie thing where Jenny and Dan are invited, but only to be humiliated?
Oh.
You know?
Or what?
And then they throw garbage on them or something, like something ridiculous.
Well, here's the thing. I don't think Serena, if she's helping putting it on, I don't think she would let that happen.
But if Blair was putting it on, she would make
Blair
it
would
happen.
do
yeah, if Blair
anything.
was putting it on, I think so then we make it Blair then, so that way we can get Serena and Blair against each other.
And then
butting
no,
heads.
but then if it was like a thing where Dan got humiliated and Blair planned it, but it seemed like Serena was in on it to
Yeah.
Dan, you know, like when he looks over and and he sees that she was also in the planning committee, but she had nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
But he's like, but you did this to me.
Yeah, yeah.
And then they have like a misunderstanding.
And she
But
goes-
Gossip Girl knows the whole thing, but Dan's not Gossip Girl yet, so we don't know.
Oh, don't worry.
Yeah.
We'll just-
So
Gossip
Dan.
Girl,
Oh
explain
my
it
God,
all.
that would mean
Yeah.
Dan would let himself get humiliated.
Yeah, yeah.
Just to be like,
Don't you trust me, Serena?
Serena, you let this happen, and then she would be like, Dan, I didn't know. Like there had to be. I had no idea. And then
So
he
every
knows she
negative
has
thing
no
that
idea.
happens to Dan through the entire series is just because he thought it'd be a more interesting story, basically.
He kind of sideways knows everything. And it's
Yeah.
so-
Well, at the end they explain. Well, I'm just like sticking a pin in your balloon here, but he has like a whole. It's kind of like a social media thing where it has a life
Yeah,
of its
people
own.
text
So he
him,
has
yeah.
like he has all the
yeah.
info.
Yeah, that's
But then
what I'm
also-
saying. He
so it's
still
something
has
out of
it.
his
Yeah.
control, but he still
Yeah, he still has
But
it.
he
and
still
he's-
walks into traps.
and he
He
still
does walk into
reports on
traps.
it.
Yeah.
I don't feel bad. I've hated Dan since I first.
I don't
saw
like
him.
his
I'm
face.
sorry,
I don't
you
like
guys.
his
I don't like
haircut.
his-
I don't
I
like.
thought Dan
I don't-
was
I
a
fucking hate
sweetie.
Dan.
I don't like
been
his
chuffed.
stupid
First of all-
haircut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, in the in the second episode, I think at the beginning he has like the military cut, and
Yeah.
next scene his hair is like 1 inch longer,
Yeah, it's like fluffy.
which is
Yeah,
clearly
yeah.
just
Which
an
I don't like.
oversight.
I don't like guys that have really thick hair and then just let it be like that,
Don't do that,
right
yeah.
there. 'Cause
yeah.
I'm
But he
like-
lets it grow out later on. He has like
I'm
sexy
sure-
hair
When he
later
becomes a
on.
writer.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
sure-
that
I'm
was
sure
a
he
great
does.
hot episode.
But that's just like,
Of
what are you
our
doing?
season.
Have hair, you know? Just have hair.
Says Tommy with like a full head of like
You're like, look at this,
Q-tip hair.
Dan.
That's why I'm saying it because I feel like I should know.
Yeah, you have authority on this one.
Nick's like, I've seen 3 episodes. I don't know.
Okay. So
Also, Nate's dad is like an investor dude, so he's real easy to get to the party.
Yeah.
Because so if we switch it and we make Blair's mom the one in charge of it,
She's a fashion lady.
and
Oh.
she
It could be
has
like,
Serena helping out, but
Fashion
Serena
show.
doesn't really want to help out.
Right.
And Nate's dad, he's still trying to get back in the good graces of Blair's mom because he was before he got found out for cocaine or whatever. And then so that's why Nate is going to be there. That's why it's important for Nate to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got Dan and Jenny. Jenny ropes Dan in because of Blair. Blair makes Jenny.
If it's
get
Blair's
Dan to
mom,
go
then
there.
it can be like a runway thing that
Yeah.
has to do with like recycled clothes or trash
Yeah.
clothes
Yeah.
or
Call it the
whatever.
trashy
Just
ball.
trash.
Yeah, like the trash ball.
I feel like she should say like she could be like, oh my god, it's like you're dressing like a local, and like it just is actual Dickies clothes.
Yeah.
It's just like you look like one of those guys in the street, and it's like $1,000 shirt, but that she actually just put a normal Dickies logo on.
Yeah.
She's like, oh my god, it's just like one of those things I would wear.
So here's my next idea is that the secret that Blair can have that we don't reveal until later is that like what you guys were talking about, we can have Jenny and Dan be put in cages based on their income. And so whenever people are walking down the aisle, there's poor people in cages.
they did that in an actual episode,
They
but
did. They put
Oh,
poor
no.
people
yeah,
in
it was
cages?
like a ball or like a club thing or something, but it was like people who were hanging in those cages who were like dancing. You know, like back in the day, like the cabaret
Oh
thing.
yeah,
Yeah, it was like that.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what I mean. I'm saying like we take that idea, but it's not dancer. It's just
Yeah, it's
poor
just
people.
them.
If you make less than $700,000,
$2
$2 million a year.
Yeah, you
just-
kidding
I'm
me?
just
The
thinking-
700,000 is way up below
Yeah.
their.
Yeah, I'm
Threshold.
just thinking like real poverty.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
All of us here, 700 is like whatever.
And Blair knows two people who can go in there, and that's Dan and Jenny.
Yeah. Also, Dan's dad is supposed to be super poor, but he owns an art gallery and like a great loft in Brooklyn. And they're like, we're so poor. We can't. We have 2 kids in
Dan-
this expensive private school. We're so
Dan
poor.
is constantly saying like half of my tuition is from a scholarship, and then I'm like, wait, how is Jenny going though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if we're
Also, even if it's half, like
It's
it's
go
like
to
40,
public
50
school.
grand,
Yeah.
60 grand
Yeah.
a year,
Oh,
half.
probably
like,
way more than that.
okay, so we should probably get down to what the characters are doing. We can probably bunch them up into 2 groups. So
Okay, I think what we could do is if you did Serena and Blair. Okay, what if we did that Dan and Serena had like a spat or something? So they weren't quite talking. So Serena and Blair have to plan this thing, right? And then Dan doesn't want to go because he has like a spat or something. But Serena's like, hey, like, will you come to this thing? It's really important to me.
I think it should be Jenny.
Jenny? Okay, yeah.
Jenny will be like, hey, Blair wants this, and I really want you to come.
Yeah, and then Dan's like, oh, I don't want to go because it's Serena's thing.
yeah.
And then he goes anyways.
Yeah.
And then when the cage drops, then he sees Serena and he's like, you fucked me over, bitch. But it's...
If we're going to break it up, it should be Serena, Dan, and Jenny.
And
then, Blair, Nate, and Dan, because Blair has different objectives. Because she wants them there because they're poor. And she's helping put it on with Serena. But her thing is she's hiding
her ulterior motive.
She's hiding that from there. And then she's putting it on basically for her mom. And then I guess Blair, Nate, and Chuck can have their own thing because Nate's helping out. Nate goes because he has to be there for Blair.
Yeah, and then most of the time Chuck doesn't have anything. He's just there for a snarky comment, trying to get with somebody, always propositioning his own friends, like his only few friends, to fuck. He's always propositioning Blair to fuck when Nate's his best friend and Blair doesn't want to fuck him.
So we'll group Dan or Nate and Chuck together because they're always together anyway. And so they can just kind of talk about like, I don't want to go, but my dad's making me. And then he's like, oh, I think of all the trashy puss that'll be there. He can say some weird stuff like that.
He says some crazy shit all the time.
He totally does.
So this is my idea for Serena and Dan. Serena and Dan are in a fight, which we can just say. Which I'm not even sure I'm not sure if we have to even show the fight. We can just say at the top have Gossip Girl and say
Lonely Boy and
S and Lonely Boy are having a spat.
Yeah.
Blah 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 blah. XOXO Gossip Girl. But I think what can happen is Serena and Dan aren't like talking a lot in the episode, but she gets the idea that Dan is going to come through and do something like really romantic and special because Gossip Girl says so. And then Dan shows up and then he gets the cage put on him and then he gets mad at her. But knowing that Dan is Gossip Girl,
it's like you know better. That
That's good.
I'm already angry at Dan for this idea I came up with. I'm already like, how could he do that? How could you let this happen to you?
Oh my god!
And what he's doing is he can get confused for planning something romantic when all he is doing favors for his sister to go to the trash ball.
Right. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So basically Dan wants, I guess, to do this thing for his sister, and then he's able to go into this unfamiliar territory and get things done for her because like we can probably throw him into like weird situations like he has to get some bull crap that he doesn't understand, whatever, for the trash ball, like because of some class stuff.
Yeah, is it just for, like, Jenny needs stuff she's either trying to do, like, a fundraiser or a science project, or she's doing...
It's something Blair is making her...
Oh, Blair's making Jenny get some shit together.
Yeah, for the ball.
Okay, I'm getting this.
And because she's not, like, maybe she's not old enough to go in and get something, maybe it's alcohol or something.
I was like, bomb-making supplies
at
a U-Haul facility.
Like, they all seem to get alcohol, no
What's
problem.
the trash ball? So, like, maybe she should be making meth and she can't get any more Sudafed.
Yeah.
He's like, I've already read about as much Sudafed as I can, and, like, I need somebody else.
But what can he get that can be spotted as romantic but can also be, maybe illegal? Like, maybe he's like, okay, I need you to...
a little house girl to work for her.
Like
a lot,
can have. Like tons of poppers. I don't know.
or maybe it's just maybe he needs to buy like candles. Like she's already got candles over here, and he needs to go get candles over there. So he's going to get candles, and then Gossip Girl spots.
We can make it
Lonely
super
Boy.
on the nose. So if we could just make it ridiculous. Like he's just buying lingerie for his little sister. Like that's funny.
because she has.
She's like, I need something,
Yeah.
and like I just can't get over this. Like the girl at the store is such a bitch to me. And
Okay.
it's like I like just like make up some random thing.
Yeah. Because
He's like, fine, whatever, I'll go grab it. And
because
then
she has to wear it for the trash ball.
Yeah, and like he's over getting something else. He's doing something, and then he gets a phone call, and she's like, I just need you to stop in there and get it. It's this, and here's a picture of it. She texts him a picture of it.
He gets upset because it's his sister. He's like, why do you want to wear this? He's like,
She's like, I'm just trying to fuck you, loser. Just go get it. And he just goes in and he gets it.
And she has to put like garbage on it or something. Like
Yeah.
maybe she's.
And she's
maybe
like, and
she's
can you get a
just
couple mustard packets while you're out there? And she just squirts them on the boobs. And she's like, all right, cool, whatever.
Yeah,
And she
just
wears
squirt
it.
mustard on her breath, on her 15-year-old breath.
Ew, don't say that phrase.
Hey, that's what she
15
is.
year-
Okay, that's what she is. I'm
That's
sorry.
what this show's about.
Yeah.
This show's
It's
primarily
crazy.
about teenage breasts.
Because when Blair and Chuck have sex in the back of the limo, I was like, that's hot. But now I'm like, they're just children.
Yeah. And the
Oh,
limo,
whenever
I would have loved to have shot
so
of the
many
limo
shows that I
driver
used to
putting
watch all the time, like,
partition down.
It's real weird to think about. Like, I remember being a kid and be like, oh my God, Eric and Donna fucked finally on that 70s show. And I'd be like, yeah, I mean, now it's weird because they're like 16. But like at the time, I was like 12 and I was like, this fucking
Yeah, but you
cool.
fucked when you were 15. So
Why is this none of these people's business?
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Okay.
Like, who didn't?
By then you were probably like, oh, Eric and Donna, just do
Yeah.
it.
And
Get
what
over it, Eric.
and usually
Yeah,
what
shit.
happens is like they get to the ball, like the event that they go to is always like the last 20 minutes of the
Yeah.
episode. So that's like almost like right in the middle too. So it can kind of work out for this. So if we're plotting out like Dan's story.
Yeah.
Right now.
Well, at the beginning, like, they just do a lot of like setting up for what's going to happen in this
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then,
they're planning the ball. It's of massive
Yeah.
importance to the parents that they go.
yeah.
Right.
That takes up like 10 minutes.
And what also takes 10 minutes is also
Dressing up.
is
Yeah.
Dan and his father being like, I don't want to go, and he's like, well, okay, if you don't want to go, then you
Nate's
don't have to
father
go."
should
Have
say
a
something
waffle.
just like
Yeah.
really on like how Nate's father and Blair's mom are like too on the nose
Chuck's-
to speak
No,
how
wait,
people
just
talk.
kidding.
You know, they just like say
Yeah.
when Blair's mom's like, you'll never be thinner than you are right now.
Yeah.
Like when it's just like, what the fuck? No one says that for
does say
real.
that.
Like,
Yeah.
so like we should just like have her say, just to throw it in there, like whenever the parents are saying this stuff, just be like, go to the party. If you don't show people how thin you are right now, you're going to regret it for the rest of your life, you
Yeah.
fat whore. Like something like that. And
Or
then,
go to
like,
the party. If you don't bag a guy right now, you'll never be worth anything.
Yeah,
Just
and then
basically.
Nate's dad will just be like, if you don't go to this party, your family's going to go bankrupt and I'll fucking disown you. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Just
Yeah.
like shit like that.
Which Nate's
Super
dad actually
honest.
does say that to him.
He does.
Yeah, exactly. I'm
In
saying
the first
everyone says
episode.
hilariously
Yeah.
direct things.
Yeah.
So Dan, I guess he ends up wanting to help his sister get stuff right for the ball. He helps her out in like unfamiliar territory getting lingerie. He's able to do it. And then he goes to the ball, the trash ball, where he gets put in a cage that he had no idea
The
Was
surprise.
that was
coming.
going to happen. And he can also be getting stuff for himself here as well.
Which is also lingerie
Like-
because
like,
he's Gossip Girl.
Like in the he can be buying like a.
It'd be pretty funny if when he
a
is Gossip
Speedo or
Girl, he
something.
has to wear like sexy lingerie to feel
Yeah.
it, you know? XOXO, Gossip Girl.
Yes.
The whole time he's rubbing
So
his
this-
tits.
Yeah, is this just a regular episode? We're not doing like a meta one where we're like, if you could look back at season 1 knowing Dan was Gossip Girl.
It's already meta because the people listening
Yeah.
to this
Yeah.
will later hear
Yeah.
the live show and be like,
Right.
oh right.
Oh, right.
So
okay.
it kind of is.
Well, I just didn't know, like, how is Dan going to Gossip Girl from his cage and stuff? Like, that'll be a fun little...
Yeah.
Like
Oh yeah,
every
we
one of
should
their other
do that. I
friends.
see what you mean.
He's got
Like
people.
if we had a scene where Dan is doing the Gossip Girl part instead of just the voiceover, if we showed Dan writing out the Gossip Girl and he writes like something snarky, he's like, that's not snarky enough, and then he has to fix it.
We can do that
He's
at
like,
the very,
okay,
we can do
yeah,
that at the very-
XOXO.
We can do that at the very end. Him
Yeah,
sitting,
yeah,
him
it's
sitting-
him wrapping up the episode.
him wearing his sister's lingerie. Here's what he's doing. He's only wearing his sister's lingerie top, and he's got the bottom like wrapped around his face, so you know he's naked on the bottom. And he's typing the Gossip Girl
Yes.
column at the very end of the
And
episode.
then when he feels like he needs to look for a word but he just can't think of it, he just squeezes a boob and he's like, what is it? What is it? XOXO.
It's like, oh, I almost forgot.
So he's able to buy everything he needs for his sister and himself. He gets to the ball where he's put in a cage. and he blames Serena for it. Somehow Serena will be like, I didn't know what
We don't have to
Blair was
resolve the
planning."
episode though.
No, I mean,
Yeah.
but we can still say like he didn't know what he was planning,
Yeah.
and then then that's whenever they resolve to be like, okay, I'm sorry, we get blah blah blah. They can just apologize and be cool, and that's Dan's story with Jenny and Serena involved. However, we also need Serena to like. Okay, so we got Dan, but we also need the Serena. What's she doing during this?
Okay, so she's planning the thing, and she's in a fight with Dan, and she
Yeah.
wants Dan to
She wants Dan
come
to show
through.
up.
Yeah.
And she finds out through Gossip Girl that
Dan's buying something.
Yeah, that Dan is probably going to plan a romantic gesture. She gets to the ball, I guess, only to discover, but she has to be talking to Blair through this. I guess we'll figure that out whenever we get to Blair. But she gets to the ball, sees Dan put in a cage and not have a romantic gesture. But she's going to have some emotional response to that.
Well, yeah, she would be
She's
like
gonna-
pissed with Blair, right?
Yeah, she would be mad. Not only would she be mad at Blair,
But she would be
might
sad.
She would be saddened
For Dan.
Yeah, for
And-
Dan. But she would get over it quick because once Dan explains that I was getting all this stuff for the ball that you were working on.
Yeah.
I was doing this stuff for you, kind of in a way,
Then she gets over it.
maybe.
Wait, so why-
Serena's really resilient, as we know.
Why
Yes.
is he planning a romantic gesture?
He's not. He's not.
She
That's
suspects.
That's what Gossip Girl says, because Dan is going out getting stuff for his sister. So Gossip Girl, in quotes, spots lonely boy.
Lonely boy.
It's just so funny that Dan would want to spot himself in that situation.
I know.
He's like, I want to let everyone know this is what I'm up to.
Yeah. So that's why I think it's crazy because Gossip Girl spots lonely boy out buying candles and lingerie, maybe getting ready to gift Serena something, when in fact it's not that at all. It's for his
In
sister.
the end, Gossip
Yeah.
Girl should also mention that all the while it was for little Jenny or something.
Yeah.
What if Serena goes through this like horrible bikini wax situation because she had heard from Gossip Girl
Oh, and
That.
she goes and
that
gets
she's getting
her.
some like
Yeah. Because she sees the
or she
lingerie
does
in the
something
Gossip Girl picture.
or she does something in reaction to preparing for getting this romantic gesture. Which would make her.
she
Is it
may-
that
Any
she-
point in the show that the entire episode is them just saying, "Who the fuck is Gossip Girl?" and just trying to do that?
It's like
Or is it a
towards
thing
the
where
end.
it's funny that they're not concerned
First
with
3
it.
seasons of
They're not
40
concerned with it
minutes,
for
20
years.
episodes.
Because I think towards
they
the
do
end
do
she
that at
becomes
the end,
really
yeah.
toxic in their lives.
Dan.
Damn.
Yeah, I
am
know.
so
What a
disappointed.
fucking bitch.
Yeah.
I can't.
I told you though, we all agree. I didn't
Fucking
like that
Dan.
fucker from the moment I saw him. His little Brooklyn
stupid
ass.
hair and his.
Yeah.
I know.
Oh.
Like I
Fucking
know.
poor piece of
Yeah, I
shit
hate
bastard.
I know. I
Okay,
don't.
baby, you liked him last night when we were
Fucking
watching
stupid,
it.
dumb,
You were
poor
just
bastard.
trying to fit in. You were such
Fucking stupid, poor piece
such
of
a
shit.
liar.
I
Yesterday,
hate all
Nick
these poor-
said, "quote Everyone in this show is bad except Dan."
No, because you said, but Dan's pretty good, and I was like, all right, except Dan.
You meant like
That's exactly what happened. She's a huge Dan fan.
I am a huge Dan fan, and it hurts my feelings that you're like, oh,
I'm just on the side of whoever's not so fucking poor.
I'm like I'm just a Chuck.
for the
fan.
people.
I'm a big Chuck guy, yeah.
I'm a Chuck fan.
I think it's
his
hilarious. I
acting
think it's
is
so
great.
fucking funny that he talks about himself in the third person a lot. He's like, that's not something Chuck Bass gets into. Or something. This is something along the lines of that in the first couple episodes.
What a great.
He's
He
like,
does
oh
do
yeah,
that.
that's not up to. He says something like that's not up to Chuck Bass's standards.
I think because
chills.
okay, so to go back to
He's
what you
chilling.
were talking about, like Serena, like planning something. Maybe she doesn't have to actually do something, but
Right.
maybe she can just be like emotionally like. She's like she can actually say out loud that oh my gosh he's doing something for me. I kind of like I can't wait to go now because her emotional arc can be like she's planning this, she's not really into it. Her and Chuck are in a tiff, so she's not really totally into planning this trash ball because even though her mom like is like it's important for her to be there, you know.
Right. Wait,
However-
Serena and Blair. Blair's planning it, or both Serena and Blair? Sorry, I'm not. I'm here. I'm here with you guys.
Serena and Blair's mother mothers are both in charge of
Right.
the planning.
And in season 1, Serena and Blair, it is all about them repairing their relationship.
Yes.
Serena went to quote unquote boarding school.
Did she not actually go to boarding school?
I think she just went to rehab or something.
No, she went to boarding school.
All of it is all about where she's like, I was just so bad. As if
Well,
I think
she
got drunk once.
only she
Right.
literally got drunk once and
got
fucked
drunk.
someone, and she's like, I'm a bad girl.
Yeah.
Everyone was
I went
like,
to boarding school 70
like,
times, if that's true.
Gossip Girl says, stop trying to hide your bad side, Serena,
Yeah.
and just accept it. And I'm
Yeah.
like, ugh.
Really?
Coming from
It's-
Dan,
Yeah,
it's just
coming-
like,
coming
God.
from Dan,
Dan, that is rich, Dan.
For coming from Dan, who got mad when he found out that she had sex with May.
Yeah, why did he get mad? Wasn't that crazy?
So just about a lunatic. Every time nothing anybody does seems consequential after knowing that it's about Dan fucking stalking everyone else and having a split personality.
Yeah,
That's the only thing
because-
that's relevant on the
because
entire
he
show.
leaves the brunch after he finds out
It
that
should be a horror episode, by the way. It should have a horror theme.
That's
It
what
should
it
be
means.
fucking
I see it on your
terrifying.
graves. That's
Yeah,
true.
it's just got to be like creepy and
Oh,
fucking
oh,
rear
it should
windowy
be
and
like
fucking
Split.
strange.
like
Yeah, I said
Split.
Split. Like just I said
Yes.
Split. I said the James McAvoy
Yes.
thing.
Oh, sorry. I only know the one with
And
them.
you said the other thing.
Yeah, I said, yeah.
That was scary about
Yeah.
revenge.
Yeah,
what was
Split's
that?
that-
You're like
I spit
scary,
on your
scary.
grave.
revenge.
I spit on
Yes,
your grave,
I'll
yeah.
spit on
Split's
my-
that
It's
the
like
M
a
Night
70s
Shyamalan
movie, I
movie
think.
that like just came out, but it's James McAvoy and he's like supposed to be like 15 different people, and he's like
that.
having conversations
Like
with
Sybil.
himself. Yeah, like Sybil.
Yes,
yeah.
we should do that.
Yeah, let's
So it's got to be
It
straight
should
up
be
horror.
this whole thing.
was into-
It
yeah,
should be this
horror
whole thing,
thing.
but the main focus
Primal
should
Instinct, you guys ever seen
entirely
that?
should be like we're following Dan in this episode.
Also, we're gonna put ominous music behind the live read.
Yeah, and then it should be
Yes.
like you know how
Yeah,
like
this is
you know how when there's like
Changing tone
split
quickly. I like
and
it.
then when people are showing it in movies they're like like that
Yeah.
thing and then like the new personality comes out.
Yeah.
It should be like that where they're like Serena says something to Dan that hurts his feelings like because they're in a fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at the beginning if you show that she says something that hurts his feelings, he hangs up the phone and it's like and then it like splits his personality.
Yes.
And he goes
Very like,
online
yes, this is
and
it.
he's like XOXO Gossip Girl. You know
So-
what's so
so-
Did
funny?
you guys see
is
Primal
ev-
Instinct with Richard Gere, Ed Norton?
Oh, yes. Yeah,
Where he's
yeah,
like, it's like, are you Roy or are you Aaron? Are you Gossip Girl or are you Dan?
Yeah, it should be like that. And then also the funniest thing that I thought of earlier that made me laugh was at the beginning of every episode, Gossip Girl says, "And who am I? That's a secret I'll never tell." XOXO Gossip Girl.
And then-
That's just Dan saying that.
Yeah, yeah. But then it just goes, I'm Dan. I'm Dan. Dan Humphries. Wannabe writer?
We should create one more personality for him. That's just inconsequential to the show in general, but in this episode is very prominent because
Right,
we're just
right.
going to focus on it. I like that. What do you think about that?
I mean, sure, but I don't know. I can't wrap
See,
my
instead
mind
of
around it.
doing a
Complex, it's
character arc
complex.
for every one of them, if we just did it for Dan,
Yeah, it's just Dan.
and
It's
it's,
just
just
Dan.
Dan,
It's just
and,
Dan,
and
'cause Dan's
the
a
whole
lunatic.
thing that we planned so far is still happening in the background.
Okay,
But
okay.
really, we're following Dan as the main character here, who has a split personality. Let's create one more personality, which is just a random one. What do you guys want that to be?
Also, we have to have it to where he's masturbating when he writes every
A baby.
single.
Oh
entry.
yes, yeah.
More sex. So
If
how
it was
about,
true Gossip Girl style, he would be somehow like non-consensually masturbating.
It should be like that, and also it should be like the third personality should be like an old Southern lady. You know, that was just
Who
that'd
doesn't
be
like
so funny.
masturbation?
Yeah, who doesn't like who shames Gossip Girl for masturbating all the time. It's an old Southern lady, and she says. Like as soon as she reads
Do it in
those
the
Gossip
voice.
Girl blog posts, I can't do the
Do the
voice.
voice.
No, you do the
Do
voice.
the
I
voice.
can't
I
do
don't
the
know.
voice.
I don't know what you want me to say in it.
an old
Okay,
Southern
you
voice?
should an old Southern voice where it just goes like these people are having too much sex. Where's Jesus? Like all those like Southern tropes.
These people are having too much sex. Where's Jesus in their lives?
Yeah, like that. You could do it better.
XOXO.
I think these people are having too much sex.
And then
Where's
one of
Jesus in
them
their
should
lives?
be another personality. Could be just a redneck dude who wants to fuck. And he loves Chuck Bass.
Yeah.
He like reads the like Gossip
Chuck
Girl
Bass got
post.
fucking cool, man. Are you seen in that first episode that some bitch about to fuck both them girls, man? He fucking prostitutes work for him, daddy, man.
They wanted
Wow,
it,
man.
They wanted it. I'll tell you one thing. I ain't never seen two ladies that wanted it more from Chuck than
Now, I seen Chuck fuck a time or two. I seen it happen. But I tell you what, them two hoes back there, man, they was like, they could have taken a piece of Chuck, man. I tell you what.
Yeah, see, that would be great. I think that, because you know how in Split in the movie, like the characters
didn't see it.
converse with each other?
Yeah, I knew that was a thing.
Yeah, they go to therapy and they like know about each other and converse with each other. So it'd be great if it was like all these personalities where, yeah, he knows about Chuck Bass, but he's just like a redneck dude with a truck who's always looking for his truck, but they live in Manhattan and they don't have a car.
Okay, but
I've
how
never
does
heard
this
of
work? I don't know how it works.
We just have
Well,
Gossip
maybe
Girl
in the
explain it
end-
all. It's fine.
Maybe like, well, it just works in monologues.
Yeah.
So if we were doing the live reading, different
Yeah.
people could be different personalities.
Okay.
Because most of the thing would just be Dan talking.
Yeah.
And it could just be Dan walking around like trying out the lingerie, and it's like the old Southern lady being like, that's too slutty or whatever. And then like the redneck dude being like, like, you know, this for your sister. I love that. Because you should
Like, your sister look fine as shit in that, man. How old she? How old is she now? 14? Fuck yeah, man. She gonna look good now.
14's legal in Mississippi.
I was just gonna say, I was like, that's legal in Arkansas, but you might be right.
14's legal wherever the cops don't find out. Whatever.
Yeah, just shit like that. He just says random things like that.
14's about 10 years. You're 10 years legal by the time you're 14.
And then we
in
only
Mississippi.
hear through the
I had
story.
16 in
Yeah, like we have
Mississippi.
this simple,
It's true.
not simple, it's a very
Yeah,
from
complex
there.
plot.
yeah.
No, just kidding. We
I
have
know
a
because the
plot
teacher
of-
fucked a
It's
student.
just in the
It's just
background.
whatever.
The plot is
Yeah.
in the background, and the
Yeah.
plot is largely explained to the audience through Gossip Girl being like, and here's Serena, and here's Blair, and here's Nate, blah, 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 you
Right,
know?
right.
This
But then
would be-
entirely, and then in the end, the horror part is where the
Pig's
cage
blood.
gets dumped.
Pig's blood.
Yeah. And he has a fucking breakout, Carrie, and
Yeah.
then it's horror,
Yeah.
and then just fucking
Dirty
turn.
pillows everywhere.
All the split personalities keep going and then like coming out from time to time, fucking murdering someone, and then just, you know, going back. And then in
So-
the
I like
end,
that
it's just Serena left.
Okay,
With the ka-chick, could you be willing to do the like text alert sound?
Yeah.
Like the Gossip Girl, you know, it's like, whoop, whoop, whoop,
Yeah.
like something's coming in, but it's like,
Yeah, and then it's like
change.
changes.
Okay,
Yeah.
Yes.
we wouldn't be able to do that live.
Sure, we can. We're
No,
gonna
you just
Vex
say,
pedal.
you just
You
say,
just say.
or we just or we just go,
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
I know you could do that,
just
but we
kidding.
wouldn't have the text to learn. But
we just
the-
make mouse noise.
the
Yeah.
thing with the ending being like horror is because we did like Are You Afraid of the Dark, and that was a lot. Like that would just be like a lot of text. Just
Yeah.
it would just be me reading to the audience the horror scary.
Oh,
part.
like the part where like someone's getting murdered.
Yeah.
Oh well,
Serena
well,
could
not
protest
if
getting
Dan.
murdered and stuff like, or not, or people.
Yeah.
the characters could like.
Yeah,
You know?
it's like I can't.
Yeah,
no, well,
exactly.
more like
Like
more like
quality
I can't
writing.
believe you would do that. Like
Yeah.
you know, things like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And then Dan says like something like, "Well, Chuck Bass, I've been waiting to murder you for so long." Whoosh, you know,
I'm gonna
just
write
things
that
like
down. That's
that.
good. Don't
then it
forget that
goes-
one.
Yeah,
and then-
like
and
great
then-
line.
And then it goes. Oh man, don't murder Chuck Bass.
That Chuck Bass is cool. What is you doing, man? I was hoping. I hope y'all was gonna be boys, man.
Chuck stares at Dan,
Yeah, this would be great. I love it.
and then Chuck goes like, Chuck Bass is not a fan of this Dan, and then Dan switches personalities and goes, huh? He
Yeah.
comes back and he goes, yeah, what? What'd you do?
And man, what the fuck is y'all talking about? Y'all to be friends, man. Just keeps going back to that guy. I don't like this, man.
That's my favorite character right there.
Yeah,
And the last
I
line is
love
very
that
much like,
character.
looks like this is a lot to clean up at this party. You know,
Yeah, like something really
so-and-so. Yeah, like
stupid.
something
Yeah.
really on the nose.
that Dan wrote about the murders he committed. And then the song, because songs are prominent in Gossip Girl, the song playing should be "Somebody Call 911," but just that in a loop.
yeah,
Just someone call 911. There's been like 20 murders. There's no like shoddy fire burning.
That would be cool because the ending would be him writing a stupid, snarky
Yeah.
Gossip Girl. Like, they should have called it, I know it was called the trash ball, but somebody did take out the trash last night. The real trash. And then he just goes on talking about how he killed all the... Lonely Boy wasn't so lonely anymore, it turns out.
He goes all Travis Bickle.
Now
He's
he
like,
has all
"Rivers
these
of
dead
blood."
bodies to
Yeah.
keep him company.
It's not, I meant like as in his personalities. He's not...
I get it.
not
I get
Lonely
it.
Boy.
Multiple levels. It's
Yeah.
working.
Oh my God.
It's working. What do you think?
I approve of all of it.
Yeah.
The only
I like
thing
the
is, though,
direction this is going.
this is much harder
No, it
to do.
well, sure it is.
If we did, let's say 4 personalities, right? 2 of them for whatever reason Southern, 2 of them
I don't know.
Northern.
We're in Memphis. Who knows? why?
Maybe 1 Valley girl. We don't know, right? So then you would just be. It would basically not be a show about gossip. It would not be an episode about Gossip Girl as much as it would
like a
just be.
spin-off.
Yeah, it would
It
be a
is.
spin-off. Really kind of like the Valley Girl show that they try to actually spin off. But there's still the Gossip Girl like petty drama in the background and the characters. But you would just be writing. I guess in the middle you could like, it could be like a page of Dan and a page of whatever they're doing and a page of Dan and a page of whatever they're doing. And then like 5 pages of Dan.
And in the beginning, it has to seem like it's going to be parody, and then it has to just be like, and then they went off to like settle their differences, and then it's all about Dan.
It's really just a POV situation.
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah.
It would
It would
be
be
a lot-
monologue,
Yeah,
basically.
It would be a big.
But in the
stuff.
read aloud, we would have different people who are monologuing.
Yeah, playing different parts of Dan.
Of Dan, yeah.
But then we'd also need the people who are also doing Serena, because that's
Well, the
still
same
happening.
people could
they'll
be
have
those
so
people
they'll have
too,
so
though.
many fewer lines that it's like
Yeah.
I could be like, all right, this person's Blair and the Southern woman in his mind, or this
Yeah.
person is
Yeah, Serena
Dan,
and
is
blah,
normal
blah, Nate
Dan
blah, blah.
and Serena and whoever.
Okay, let's try to figure this out now.
All right.
But just real quick request is, who should get murdered for sure is Serena's brother.
Oh, I
Oh,
like
the-
You
Eric.
do?
What?
I'm sorry.
No, but
He's dead.
Wait, what does he do?
He's
I
just
don't
a
know.
horror.
He's just sick all the time.
What?
stop
He
trying to
was.
kill
He tried to
himself.
kill
Yeah, he tried
himself.
to
Yeah, let.
I think
Dan
she's like,
finish
maybe
the
he
job.
should have succeeded.
That's what I mean. Like, let Dan finish
Yeah.
what you
job.
started.
That's true. I
And then
guess if
he-
you look at it
and
that
what
way,
he
it's
does-
kind of like
what he
assisted
does,
suicide.
he stabs him in his scar. His
Yeah.
suicide scar, and just like, let's get it right this time. XOXO, and then just.
Oh, and then he
slices-
writes
Maybe he
XOXO
kills-
on
Maybe
it.
he kills people. Oops, I'm like,
Yeah.
with XOXO.
Yeah, kind of like Zorro, like
Yeah.
how he would do a
But
Z,
he
but
writes-
it's like
But he just
XOXO.
XOXO.
Yeah.
He
Over their
XOs all-
eyes.
Yeah.
And then and their
But
throat.
then in Dan's head, it's like, even if I put XOXO, no one will ever know because I'll never tell that I'm Gossip Girl.
And with every kill, he goes
Yeah.
XO stabbing.
Yeah.
XOXO. I'll never tell.
Yeah, Gossip Girl.
Gossip
And
Girl.
who am I?
I'll never. That's what he
That's a
says.
secret I'll never tell.
I'll never tell.
It's so like
Gossip
one of those
Girl.
Maybelline commercial things. It's like, was she born with it? Maybe it's Maybelline. You know,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the like city voice.
yeah.
But
Like
then
the voice.
one time, whenever he goes, and who am I? I'll never tell. And then the Southern guy comes like, hey, I know who you are. I know.
And then the Southern lady's like, you should be proud of who you are.
Yeah.
You know, like, you just keep going. You did real good work today.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Just a real nice
God
church
gave-
lady.
Yeah, God
Dolly-
gave you gifts. You just,
Dolly Parton
praise him.
says, be you. If you want to be you, just be you.
Unless you're Jolene, that whore from the bank, tried to steal her husband.
Okay, so
Okay, so let's start.
Dan, okay,
Yes,
this
let's
is an
get
episode.
Dan's in his
of
loft.
Dan is in his loft.
His
He is.
laptop.
Oh, this is how it starts. He's reading a Gossip Girl column about the latest fight between him and Serena.
Okay,
even
okay,
though he
yeah.
wrote it, but that's
And
okay.
Yeah.
I love
he,
it. Yes.
he wrote it, but he's like getting.
Maybe he's like editing it.
I don't think we should reveal just yet.
Oh, okay, okay.
But he's
But,
he's
yeah.
reading it and he's like, it's getting it all wrong. And
Yeah.
then but he knows it. Oh, the reason
It's
he's
a
saying
metaphor, inner
the
turmoil.
reason
Yeah.
the reason he's saying it's getting
Yeah.
it all wrong. He's reading it and then Jenny comes and sees him, and it's like, oh, reading Gossip Girl, and he's like, it's just getting it all wrong. And then I guess we get the exposition of the trash ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jenny's like, got invited
Yeah,
to this
Jenny's
ball.
like,
Yeah,
yeah,
and
yeah.
he's like, no,
Exactly.
I don't want to go. Their dad comes
Yeah.
in and says something, whatever. And then he's like, well, got to go to work. And then he goes off to the art gallery.
Yeah, the dad's like, we came from trash. You should
Yeah,
go.
Yeah.
I was gonna be like, I can't go. I am trash, don't you know? And she's like, yeah, but like you're like good trash now.
Exactly.
You're good trash. You're like an Evian bottle.
She's like, when you see like a Voss bottle like floating in the Hudson, and you're like, wow.
That's
You're like,
you.
that used to cost $4.
That's when Jenny can explain that she's going to need some help getting stuff. And we'll be like, okay, this is where we need to bring in the personalities immediately.
Right.
Okay, so as he's walking to get the stuff, maybe.
Yeah, as he's walking to
Or is
get
he
the
just,
stuff.
yeah. He's going to get the stuff, and then he sees like Chuck Bass, and the Southern guy's like, you should just go get laid like Chuck Bass or whatever.
Okay, so
just-
Chuck,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Chuck is like kind of walking around.
And then maybe
Chuck is
Dan,
always-
in his own voice, is like, shut up, not right now. So we know that he's talking to himself, you know?
Not right now.
And then he's like going to the thing. And when he's like changing into the lingerie or whatever.
He gets a call from Jenny. He calls Jenny and tells her he's at the place after seeing Chuck, and then he gets the lingerie and the candles, and then maybe he goes back. He has like maybe another moment, like he has those moments you guys were talking about where
Like,
he's
Yeah.
trying on the clothes.
And and while he's doing it, that's when he can do Gossip Girl posts, maybe in a
Yeah.
different personality to
Oh,
let
he-
Serena know.
So he goes home.
Yeah, and
He's
does the
trying on
post.
clothes.
Complex.
He's
Yes,
trying
yes.
on. He's trying
As
on
Gossip
clothes.
Girl.
As Gossip
Yeah.
Girl. Well, no, he's trying on the clothes and he's doing the different personalities of the Southern woman and then the Southern man.
Yeah.
Is Gossip Girl a separate personality?
Yes,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Gossip Girl
thank
is
you.
basically
Yes, yes.
just Kristen Bell,
Yeah,
whatever
Okay,
we
so
imagine.
he's Kristen Bell plus Dan.
Yeah.
Plus
Plus two.
Southern guy was his name.
Cletus, whatever.
Cletus,
yeah.
Earl,
Devon.
Nick,
And Devon.
Devon.
So we got, let's just call the Southern one Dolly. So then he's trying on the clothes and Cletus and Dolly are being real cool about it. And then he gets sent like a picture of himself buying stuff. So then he goes into Gossip Girl mode, writes that
Oh, that should be the
spotted-
thing that triggers his Gossip Girl personality
yeah.
is every time he gets a picture.
Yeah.
Oh,
Spotted.
yeah.
And it turns out that when he saw Chuck took a picture of him
Yeah. Okay.
at the thing. So Chuck takes a picture of him. He starts writing the post about Gossip Girl about Dan, like spotted lonely boy out to resolve his tiff with S.
Yeah.
Maybe a romantic gesture at tonight's trash ball.
Yeah.
XOXO. And then he tells what's her name that he's got the stuff. Okay, so that's him, I guess, adapting to the situation after being in the unfamiliar territory of trying on lingerie and going out to get it. Now he has to get what he wants, and what he wants is what? As these separate personalities.
To kill.
Yeah, annihilation,
Yeah, to
basically.
To kill.
Or
So
to see-
Well, no, he just
see
wants to go to
Serena.
the ball and
He
see
wants-
Serena.
He wants to
Yeah.
see Serena.
he wants
Simple-
to see Serena.
Simple goal. Yeah.
Simple goal.
Yeah.
So he gets what he wants,
Right.
but he gets put in a cage,
Yes.
and that's when everything changes.
That's
Oh,
when
shit.
shit comes out.
That's when Dan breaks in the cage, and he's able to. Like
yeah,
the
he
ca-
breaks the cage. That's what we should do.
So
He breaks the cage.
here's what I think
This
he should
is,
do.
this is
he
very
should
symbolic.
he
I
should
like this.
shake.
Yeah.
He should be in the cage and shaking it, and he should be like huffing and sounding like I don't know, like a 14-year-old who's like really suddenly. And then the cage falls and he breaks out of it, and he uses one of the metal pipe, the sharp ends of the steel of
Yeah,
the
to
cage
just kill a lot of people.
to stab people that are there, and it's not him paying, he's making them pay.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
right.
and then,
nice.
And with every kill, I guess every kill should be meaningful.
Dan should just have a gun
Yeah.
on him too for no reason, just because he's also a Southern man. So he also has a
Right.
gun on him.
It should have a bump stop.
Yeah.
Why?
Because
why?
this is season 1, so
Okay.
there's
Because
shoot
he's a
everyone.
Southern
Yeah.
man
Okay.
and he has a
still-
gun
you can still get those.
But what do you want him to use the gun for?
to kill them.
Murder.
But if
I
he's
know
got,
gun isn't
if
as
he's
good as
got,
X.
if he's
But
got
I
the
was thinking,
thing-
why didn't people escape? It's a party. If you go from person to person killing someone, then
so-
you're gonna escape.
So I got
Because
I
they
have-
don't- they
I
don't
have
believe
an
it'll
idea.
happen.
I have an idea.
Okay.
When he starts killing people, that's whenever we also do flashbacks of Gossip Girl narrating him doing weird stuff as these other personalities, like locking doors and stuff like that. It's almost as if he
Oh,
knew-
that's creepy. It just gave me chills.
it's almost as if he knew
That he was gonna do it,
he
but
was
Dan
going to
didn't
murder,
know.
but Dan
Yes.
didn't know.
That's
Like,
what happens in Split. The other personalities know they're gonna do it, but
he doesn't
some personalities are like, "Help us," but the
like-
others are like, "No."
In the beginning, there has to be where he's like at it, like, so it has to really, like, why does he want to kill this bad? So he's like fed up with the fights.
Yeah, because
Serena.
everyone is always just such a bitch. Like
Yeah,
for,
all these
for
rich
instance,
fuckers.
like Chuck
Yeah.
just took a picture of him buying
He's sick of
lingerie
Chuck and
for
his
no
cameras.
reason. Yeah,
Okay, I just make okay.
and
yeah.
like you know,
Yeah. Like,
and
you can't even
Jenny,
buy lingerie in the city anymore.
it's
Yeah.
like, I don't know.
he kills his sister too. He kills Jenny. Because I have an idea of why he can kill.
Oh,
sister.
maybe-
he can
maybe-
kill Jenny because she's such a pushover for Blair.
Maybe
Yeah.
he kills Jenny, but it was like a moment of rage where he didn't realize it was Jenny. He thought it was Serena, and it all like he sobers up and Serena's still alive, and he's like, "What have I done?" And then
Yeah.
it's like somebody call 911, and then it just fades out, and we don't know what happens.
You're like, I have a suggestion for
Yeah.
a song. Or he makes Blair watch Jenny get killed. So or I don't know if he's that sadistic, but he could be.
I feel like Blair would like it.
I know, Blair would be like,
"Hell yeah,
sweet."
yeah."
So okay, so during
starts killing.
during the murder, we have like these little flashbacks of maybe Cletus being like, I'm just going to put a pipe right here for no reason at all. Just put it
Yeah,
right
yeah,
there."
like the real like
Yeah.
innocent,
Yeah.
creepy.
Yeah, and then it has like, and then maybe another flashback
Wait.
of Dolly. maybe
Alternative
putting-
theory.
What?
Okay, since there are so many people, if it's a party, it's like 100 people
Yeah.
or more. It seems like if they were in a room trapped with a maniac instead, like after the party, like the whole thing happens, and then Dan's like, I just want to talk to you guys about it. I know you didn't mean to do this, blah, blah, blah. So Serena gets everyone in a room together so they can talk about, like, you know, whatever. You just have to get Blair, Nate, and Dan. Jenny will just come. I mean, Blair, Nate, and Chuck. Jenny will just come on her own. And Serena's there because she wants to be like, Dan, I didn't mean to do this. Here's proof that I didn't know anything about it. And when they're in the room, that's when we realize that, like, he's kind of like, there's only one exit, and he moves over to the exit being like, oh, it's okay. But then you see him lock the exit and turn around.
So
With a
you're-
shard from the...
You're saying that he falls in the thing. He doesn't have his break then. Later.
Well, he has, like, a silent break. You know what I mean?
he
Where
makes,
he's
he
like...
makes the decision.
Yeah, yeah. Or like when he's in the cage, it's like, and then it's like you hear him whisper to himself, well, now they're going to have to pay for this, won't they? And then it's like, XOXO, Gossip Girl, pay for this. Like
Okay.
like all the characters come together to be like.
I like the other way better because he falls, he comes out in a rage and just starts killing because then it takes longer. It's like another step.
Yeah, you'll have to like get a whole new scene.
And then
set.
it's like, Serena gathers all her friends in a room, and it's like, I just want to talk about like,
Yeah.
no, we could have just killed you like earlier.
Yeah. You know, I had this plan before. I just
could have killed
changed it.
So he's out killing, doing XOXO bullcrap. He can have a reason to kill them all. Maybe we might need to set it up during this part where he's shopping and having these breaks, why he has a reason to kill each person.
Mm-hmm.
So Jenny, because she's a pushover. Chuck, because he took a picture of her.
Mm-hmm.
Nate, why? What is
Because he slept with Serena.
Look,
Yeah.
we're like, we are fans.
Okay.
That's easy. That's the
Yeah.
easiest.
Yeah.
Because Nate looks too good. Like you said, every time you see
Yeah,
Nate,
I
it
don't
makes
like
you a
it.
little mad.
I don't like anybody that good looking. Though.
Yeah, it's like you can't trust them.
Yeah.
So I have an idea.
Eyebrows, no.
In the beginning, we can also like plant this idea too in the Gossip Girl post he's writing because we know it's him. We know it's him, but the audience doesn't yet. So we can say something that shows his insecurity, which goes on to say, like in the Gossip Girl post, Lonely Boy and S are having a tiff. Will S fall back into N's arms? So it reveals his insecurity about it tonight at the trash ball.
Yeah.
And maybe it's a picture of
Serena just talking to Nate.
and just having
Yeah.
a casual conversation
Yeah.
with Nate.
Yeah.
Which will also piss Blair off if you need to throw that in the mix. Because,
Yes.
Blair and Nate are dating.
Yeah. Which could also work in a normal episode.
Yeah.
And
This is totally normal, right?
yeah.
What if he went into it so he goes into it kind of already having that idea that he's going to kill them, right? One of the reasons he could kill Chuck would be like if Chuck sent something to Gossip Girl. So let's say Chuck sent something about Jenny to Gossip Girl. Okay. And so when they're at the party, Dan says, let's say Jenny kissed a guy or something, Jenny kissed a guy.
Yeah.
And then Chuck is like, how do you know about that?
And Dan says,
yeah,
I saw
and
it on
then
Gossip
yes,
Girl.
Dan says I saw it on Gossip Girl, and Chuck's like it hasn't been published on Gossip
So
Girl.
then when
yet.
that happens, I think before they go into the room and everything, and he kills all the other people, he should kill Chuck.
Yeah,
first.
he should kill Chuck
And
first,
he
so
should
we know.
And when it
then
happens,
he locks everything.
When it happens, he's like, "That hasn't been published on Gossip Girl yet," and he goes, and he has some sort of like quick one-liner line. Oh, hasn't it? And he's like, he switches into Gossip Girl mode. And all it means is he just opens up his shirt and he's wearing a bra, and he's wearing his sister's bra, and he's just like, hasn't it? And he's like, what? And then he kills him.
Yeah, and then he says, and who am I?
I don't think he should be wearing the bra. I think he should open it up, and he's got an X and an O
I was gonna say,
over his
just to
nipples.
be something super bizarre.
And then he
He's
just
like, what does
says,
that mean? And he goes, you know what it means. I don't. And he goes, whatever. And then he just kills him.
Yeah.
and then he kills him, and he says, and who am I? That's a secret I'll never tell. XOXO Gossip Girl. And then he starts locking everything as like Cletus or whatever.
So this is how it happens.
Yeah.
He goes into the thing, he falls, and when he starts killing people, then we go back to a flashback, and that's where we see Chuck dying.
Yeah.
So in this moment where he gets there, we can have a scene with maybe Jenny and Serena and all that. And in that moment, like we can have him talk to Chuck. The next scene is Jenny and Serena talking. And after that, we see Dan and Jenny getting to the cages.
Yeah.
The cages drop on them. Whenever they get to that spot, like maybe Dan, his like feathers are ruffled in some way, and we see him getting ready as a cue to like something's happened with him and Chuck. Maybe he's finally done. But we don't know that yet. Like
we don't know that he murdered him.
We just see him straightening up, and we see him like kind of like maybe wiping some blood off of his face.
Yeah, and it just
kind
kind of seems like maybe it's a punch.
Yeah, we're like,
because he's like he does this. You know how guys do that thing after a punch where it's
go
like
that.
yeah.
They shake their hand after punching.
Women don't do that.
And
After a punch, we're just like, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, after a punch, we're icing the thing that we got punched on.
It's usually in the places people can't see, so I'm always like, teabag, frozen
Oh my
beans,
god.
We're busy doing other things.
So he comes out. He starts killing. He has a break. And then that's whenever we flash back to see Chuck is dead, and someone like tries to get out. Maybe it's Nate who's trying to get out and be like, we need to get everyone out. And then it's locked, flashback, boom. Chuck's on the other side of that door, dead.
Yeah.
And then we see the flashback. And then after that, he kills everyone for their different reasons.
Yes.
Blair because she's Blair, basically.
Yeah.
Blair's easy to kill. Nate because he's jealous of possibly getting back with Serena. Chuck is dead because we know why. Jenny because she's a pushover.
She wants to give into the like class warfare or whatever.
Yeah.
Like she just wants
So
to.
should Jenny be last and should Serena die?
I think Serena shouldn't die because like Dan can be so sadistic that he's like, this is the worst thing that can happen to you is that you have to live with this now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he walks up and then or he says something
he's like have fun having a baby with Ryan Reynolds.
or
Deadpool.
Yeah. Or he says boarding school isn't going to fix this.
Yeah.
And then he walks away.
Yeah.
He walks out
And he found a way to frame her for the whole thing. We don't know how.
Yeah.
It could be.
We know how is he does it over Gossip Girl. Like at the very end, he's in his sister's stuff. He's typing it out at Gossip Girl, saying that Serena did it.
Yes.
That rumor has it that S finally went crazy over her love affair between Lonely
And
Boy
then there's a picture
Yes.
of her with all the blood in her hands and just
Yeah.
looking maniacal.
yeah.
And pictures of her setting up the whole trash ball, lining everything with plastic.
Yeah.
Meditation, you know.
yeah.
She's totally framed for it. I was thinking Serena should live as well.
Yeah.
And then at the very end, he paints Chuck as a hero because he was there trying to unlock the doors, but he was killed before he could do it.
Yeah.
Or what if Gossip Girl doesn't do that? What if the redneck guy personality goes back in after Gossip Girl goes to sleep? Like Gossip Girl logs off, and then you see the redneck guy come out, and he's like, "Let me just log back in here." XOXO Gossip Girl.
Oh, he comes in. And
Yeah, he
makes
comes in and
Chuck the
changes it.
hero.
Yeah.
Makes Chuck the hero.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
like, oh my god, that's so good.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
loves Chuck. He
Yeah.
loves Chuck.
Yeah.
Man,
I
Chuck
think
shouldn't have died. I feel like what really happened was he was a hero.
Chuck was like a first responder. You
Yeah.
know, like
So Chuck's dad wants gentrifying an area, wants to hold a ball. He gets Serena's mother to do it. Serena's mother knows Blair's mother is all about being able to put this stuff in. So they team up. So that means Nate has to go there because Blair's mom is going to go there. He wants to get back in the good graces. Chuck obviously has to go because his dad's putting it on. Serena's got to help her mom put it on. Blair's also got to help. But Blair is using Jenny because she wants to put poor people in cages high above to showcase the trash.
Yes.
This is a trash ball. We should have the trash in cages
Yes.
above the
to show how great trash can be.
yeah.
Yes.
Let's lift the trash up
Yes.
in exaltation and thank the trash for being able to hold us up. Let's hold them up this time. Dan, we have all this happening, which we can explain, I guess, through different conversations. Like whenever we see Chuck out and about where Dan is at, we can kind of like maybe have that moment. We can have that moment as well whenever Dan calls Jenny and learns more about it there. And then maybe Dan can also talk to Serena at some point as well. Or maybe, I don't even know how much Serena would be in this until she doesn't die.
Yeah. They don't have to be that much in it.
Yeah,
honestly.
but they're
But they're just like
kinda-
mentioned through
Yeah,
Gossip
yeah.
Girl
Yeah.
or whatever,
Yeah, they're
so
mentioned
it's
through
fine.
Gossip Girl.
Or there'll be a scene of her like getting Gossip Girl, like, oh, Dan's.
Oh, that's right.
doing-
Dan,
yeah,
and then
like Dan's.
and yes, when that can
Dan's
happen.
trying to do a romantic gesture
yeah,
for
yeah,
her.
that can happen in the whenever they're
Yeah.
adapting, and so Serena can talk to Blair about that.
And they're
And
like
that can be more. So basically, the exposition is happening throughout the episode, like why people are going to be at this ball and why it's important for them
Yeah.
to be there.
And the whole like B story, like Serena and Blair could be doing just like ridiculous shit, getting ready for the trash ball, like, you said,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
lining, having to get like
Putting
yards and yards of like plastic
plastic
bags.
down.
Yeah. Or
on
what, I
the
mean,
ground.
What about the other
that's not
people who
ridiculous.
are at the party?
That's sensible though.
Who are the other people?
Everyone at the party.
You mean just normal people?
Yeah.
Just the school?
Rich people,
Yeah. Just people who are at the party.
fabulous people.
Well, it's put on by Serena and Blair, and they're the popular girls, so people want to be there.
I know, but he just murdered
Yeah, what
them
happens to the
in
rest
front
of
of
them?
everyone, and why didn't they do anything?
Maybe
I think
they
the
invite a
implication-
bunch. Oh,
I think the implication is like, what if, or maybe it wasn't the implication. What I imagined rather was that somehow they end up like all in a separate little room, and then like,
That's what I was
yeah.
thinking.
yeah.
Yeah.
In the
Well,
But-
here,
huge staging room. Or they could have invited like a whole batch of like charity population in the ball. That
Or if there's
doesn't
like a
matter if they die or
VIP
not,
section,
or
and then
okay.
it's just like.
But if
only
Dan is
main
breaking from his
characters in VIP.
cage,
Yeah.
then he's already on
XOXO.
stage, like in front of everyone. Because the cage is like in front of everyone. So if you're like breaking out and then murdering,
Or they could
then
be behind a
everyone is
curtain.
still there.
And
So
the
then,
curtain,
yeah. No, they could be behind a curtain.
right?
But then if he tells everyone as Gossip Girl that Serena killed them, everyone's like, no, I was there and you did.
well, here's the thing though. We don't actually have to see him get in trouble. We can just say he blames it, it doesn't mean anyone has to believe it.
Yeah.
True.
So
But it's
we
still,
can-
but it's
But
still
it's
like
still, like-
they're there though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's,
they'll
everyone is
Even
there.
if they're there, they won't just let them like walk away at the
It's
end.
like 5 people got murdered, and how come it's one guy with no real weapon?
But-
So it's like
but-
anyone could have stopped him. He's not even that. jacked.
here's my thing, because it's a TV show, and we don't have to let them get away unless we let them get away.
What if he gets out at the same time that he gets out, like something happens outside or something and a whole bunch of people run over there, but all those friends were gathered up around one spot anyways, and whenever he breaks out the cage, they're all looking at him, but the other people are all that weren't like in their little friend circle are just like off doing whatever is happening outside. Like there are fireworks going off outside for the thing or something like that.
So
But the
it
doors
can-
are locked.
But
So
they have. What
it
about the
can
Gossip
be-
Girl text goes off? Everybody is looking down. That's what they do in the show, like some playoff.
Yeah.
that. But like
Okay.
I don't know
Also,
exactly.
also, it can be the song is skipping, and then they could all be distracted by the song skipping
Or
because
mesmerized 'cause they're
it's
such
somebody call
dipshits.
911.
They're like, do we do this? What if there's a lot of blood already in the show or something, and they think it's part of the show?
Or part of the trash ball is them just singing. It's just like, oh, why have ketchup all over you?
Yeah.
Or part of the trash ball, it's like the poor people rose up and killed the rich or something.
Yeah.
But that's part of the ball or something. I don't know. It just seems really like strange to be like there's an entire party and we killed
Yeah, we have to
4
figure out a
prominent
way to
people.
isolate all the the main people from everyone else in it, because it doesn't. It's not that it just doesn't like we can have it just not make sense. We could, but it's like it requires too much suspension.
Yeah. So either
Like it's one thing if it's
distraction
just
or
like they
isolation.
would know it was him. That's fine, but it's like if they're physically in the room while he's murdering everyone, they'll be like, "I just watched you do this." Like somebody
Yeah,
would have
why
actually
didn't
called
anyone?
911.
It's like even if 4 people just tackled Dan, it would have been over. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Dan's really tough though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a distraction or isolation.
Has
just
that
like you're
poor
saying. Yeah.
blue collar strength.
So what he does is
Maybe it's like a
he-
magnetic force. where they
Maybe
can't
maybe
look
he does
up,
like
they can't look
one
up.
one Gossip Girl text, kill one person, another Gossip Girl text, everyone's like kill another
so he, like, does
person.
the text, and everyone looks down, and he's like, like really
He's like,
quick.
got him.
What?
And then the Gossip Girl text says Nate died, and they're all like, what? And then he kills the other person.
Where's Nate? I don't know, because like honestly, the way I was thinking about it is just like let everybody just be screaming while trying to get out, and their backs
Yeah.
are like turned trying to leave this place.
Yeah.
But they can't get out. And
Or what if he
he's
makes like a
killing
ring of
them.
fire around? There's like 4 people sitting up front, and he makes a ring of fire that he planned beforehand around them, and the people can't come through.
Oh my god, it's a garbage fire. What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
the so.
Oh, he
so-
wants it to be real trashy, so he sets tires on fire
Yeah.
for
yeah.
the scrap
Oh.
metal.
Yes.
So what he does,
yes, yes,
I have one idea.
And then everyone dies of fumes,
So
including Dan.
we mentioned him buying candles, and what he does is he just puts them like in a ring, and so whenever he comes busting out of the cage, he just knocks them over, and the domino effect causes a
Yeah.
ring of fire around everyone, and then
Or-
he kills them through the ring of fire.
Yes. Also, we could add the curtain thing where if he had candles, instead of just a ring of fire candle thing, if there were curtains that lit on fire, everyone would immediately start evacuating. And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
he's like, gotcha, gotcha,
Yeah,
gotcha.
so it's just curtains around
Yeah.
a VIP area.
Yes, and
curtains
then-
around a VIP area, and then all I has to do is light the curtains on fire.
Yes.
And then everyone runs, but they're around the fire's surrounding the other people.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they can't run. So they're
And also
isolated.
because they're too dramatic to run, you know what I mean?
Like,
They'd be
oh
too
my
involved in
God.
like, Blair, what happened? You know?
And then
Right,
then
right.
while like the fire's burning, like Serena is like, I'm so sorry for everything I did to you. And like, we can still get out. And she's like,
Yeah.
but wait.
Yeah.
Like,
But what about that time I slept with your boyfriend?
and she's like, let's just talk about that another time. And she's like, I just know that I can't live like this anyways. What life is that to say?
And here's the best part. You know, in The Last Jedi, whenever they're fighting in the room with the red curtains, and then they catch on fire, and it looks really cool. That's what it looks like.
Oh, we can put that in.
That's what it says in the script.
We
Exactly
could
Looks like that
say,
part
we
in
could
The Last
say
Jedi.
it looks like that.
Yes.
Yeah, it looks like
I'll
It
draw
looks
it.
like the best part of The Last Jedi. It looks like that really cool action scene.
Yeah.
So I think we have it. So because whenever he goes back
I would watch
home,
this.
he blames everything on Serena.
Right.
And since there's fire, all the evidence is kind of destroyed.
Yeah.
So he can. Ooh.
Love it. That's so good.
So it says in the fire, NB.
What if he lets Jenny live and that's the only eyewitness and she has to choose between Serena and Dan and she chooses Dan? Okay, that's too much.
Just
All
kill
right,
her, just
okay,
kill
just
her.
kill
Yeah,
her.
yeah,
That's
Yeah,
fine.
I'm already
That's
like,
fine.
this is hard.
Jenny's so
Yeah.
dead.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we got it.
Yeah, I
that's
think we
good.
got it.
This is
This sounds
this is
good.
already this is the longest one we've ever done.
It's my fault.
No.
We
It's
got on
been
off on a lot more
great.
tangents.
I
and stuff,
like
yeah.
I like how like we
The
switched
last one we
directions.
wrote was like 40
'cause
minutes. We're like,
Abe-
this is what happens, and now it's over.
And then smoothed over. Okay, I think we
All
did
right.
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
We did it.
Bye
This
bye.
has been Gossip Girl XOXO.
No, that's not. No.
XOXO
No,
Gossip
no,
Girl.
no.
We're just-
And
yeah.
who am I?
Oh,
That's
yeah.
a secret I'll never
Okay.
tell.
And
Yeah.
who am I? That's a secret I'll never tell. XOXO.
No, you need to sound more
Do it in Cletus
vicious.
voice. I'm just kidding.
Oh yeah, do that.
And who am I? that vision.
And who am I? That's a secret I'll never tell. XOXO. Gossip Girl.
We did it.
We did it.
Yay. Okay. Wow. Cool. All right, guys. Thanks for listening. I hope you liked it. Now I got some news to share. After next week's live episode, Nick and Casey won't be on this podcast anymore. Yeah. Sucks. They are moving away to Colombia, and not like South Carolina, Colombia. I'm talking Colombia made famous by Pablo Escobar in the 80s and 90s Colombia. Colombia. That Colombia. Life is moving them away, but this podcast will go on, and I hope you'll stick with it. So tune in next week as we perform this thriller episode of Gossip Girl we just got done doing for you. And be sure to like, share, and subscribe on your podcast app and follow us on social media. Those links are in the description. And for Sara, Nick, and Casey, I'm Tommy Oler, and have a good day.